G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. In the past I've made a caramel in a microwave, and that's a very popular recipe and it's very easy to make, and I'll leave a link down below. So this is a new version, how to make it in a crock pot or slow cooker. So join me today as I make my version of caramel in a crock pot. Now we're going to start this off by using some sweetened condensed milk. Now just to prove that any brand will work, I've actually bought the cheapest I could possibly find, and these work out to about $1.80 a can. So don't get the normal condensed milk, make sure it's the sweetened condensed milk because it's the sugar that makes the caramel. And next we're going to use some preserving jars. Now I recommend preserving jars, they just hold a seal that much better. And we're just going to pour our sweetened condensed milk into each jar. And the reason I like these jars is, see how they got that seal on the outside? Then when placing the lids on, just ensure that they're as tight as you can possibly get them. And next we're going to use the obvious, and that's a crock pot. Or here in Australia, or in other countries, it's also called a slow cooker. So with some hot water, I'm going to fill up, say about 3/4 of the way, about between half and 3/4. And then we're going to place our jars into our crock pot. And with the remaining water, we're going to fill it up so the lids are covered. Now it's very important the jars aren't touching the air. Otherwise it can cause all sorts of problems, you don't want that. So keep on checking every few hours just to make sure that there is enough water in there and you'll be just fine. Now what I like about this version as opposed to my caramel in a can version where I boil the can, this way is even more foolproof because you can actually tell just by looking at the colour on how well the caramel is done. So all we have to do now is just place a lid, and we're going to place that on low for exactly 8 hours. But of course you can leave it a little bit longer or take it a little bit sooner, judging by the colour of the caramel. But just make sure you don't open the jar until they're completely cooled down. Now as you can see, they're out of the crock pot, and what I did was I just took the lid off the crock pot and turned it off, and I just let it cool down naturally overnight. Because especially being glass, you really don't want it to cool down too fast. Now another reason why I wanted you to make sure that you tighten the lids as hard as possible. See this? You push down, nothing happens. That's perfect. But it turns out I didn't tighten this one enough. So because this one's like that, I'm going to use this one straight away anyway, so it's not an issue. You can use it within a few days to a week. But because this one is perfectly sealed, you can keep it in the cupboard for months. But for these ones, I recommend that you use within a week. But would you look at this lovely caramel sauce? So as you can see, they were incredibly simple to make, also incredibly cheap too. So for the ingredients, I paid about $1.80 compared to about $5 or $6 for the same amount of caramel in the shops. And I guarantee when it comes to lovely gooey caramel, this tastes simply delish. So feel free to make 3, 4, 5 jars, because they'll last for months on end in the cupboard, assuming they're sealed properly. So thank you for watching this episode of Todd's Kitchen. Please check the links down below to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and Home Handy Hints channel. And please do me a massive favour by giving this video a thumbs up, leave a comment and subscribe, and I'll see you next time for another delicious recipe.